Yo, what is up guys, Fifakill, and today what I have for you is my top 5 loadouts in the new Season 1 of Warzone. Make sure you drop a like on the video so that I can help you guys out in a lot more future videos with tips and tricks, class setups, and just gameplays in general. But yo, I will give you guys the best loadouts to be using for your best possible outcome in game, whether that's you want wins, whether you want kills, whatever. We're going to jump into the first one right now though, guys. Alright, so first up we have the DMR AK-74U crossover. These are both new weapons into Warzone, both Black Ops Cold War guns. I'm not going to go too much into the DMR because I actually uploaded the video with it yesterday with the class of that, which I already dropped a 30+ kill game with. So this class is tried, tested, very successful. I will, however, show you guys the attachments on the AK-74U. This is definitely a very strong weapon, and I'd say it even rivals guns like the MP5, which have dominated Warzone for so long. And here you go, here are the attachments. We got the muzzle brake, which is for vertical recoil control. We got that task force, so we get the extra damage. We got ourselves the milliwatt laser, that's for the hip fire close range. Spetsnaz grip to help control it a little bit at range, and then the 40 round speed mag just to reload real quick. Something I've noticed about Cold War weapons is that they hit very, very hard. They don't, however, have the best recoil control, the best accuracy. So the Cold War guns seem to be a lot better at close range, whereas the MW guns, the classics, are going to be better for your long range. So a lot of the time we're going to see a crossover between the guns of maybe one MW gun and a Black Ops Cold War gun together. Not in this case, however, because the DMR handles long range very, very well. And yeah, that's the first setup, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Alright guys, so next up we have the Krig and the Finnec. Like I said, classic having a Black Ops Cold War gun and a Modern Warfare gun together. Bit of a weird one this time, having the Black Ops Cold War gun as the primary, you know, the longer range weapon. But in this case, it works out. The Krig, very, very high damage, and it has the 15-inch mil-spec barrel, which again increases the damage even further. There's a lot of these kind of attachments on the Black Ops guns. You definitely need them. That's what helps them really hit hard, and they can't compete with the Modern Warfare guns unless you add the damage to them, just because the MW guns have the monolithic suppressor, which obviously increases their damage. But you go ahead and throw this bad boy on along with the infantry compensator muzzle and the foregrip, which helps with your recoil. Give it a little sight to help at range. You can either do the 2x or the 3x, and you got yourself a pretty high damage output, decent recoil, mid to long range beast with an SAS mag clamp mag to help you reload a little bit quicker and have a few more bullets to output. Now, we have our long-range weapons. Second up, we have the Finnec. This gun has very recently been buffed, and it now hits different. The gun's fire rate just makes it very, very dominant up close. Definitely able to compete with even the best guns up close, like the R9, the MAC-10, the MP5, whatever you like. This thing will be able to compete, and there are the attachments right there. The class setup for the Finnec hasn't changed for a while, but the fact that it got a buff recently for the new season means that I had to throw it in, because this gun is definitely very dominant on the map right now, and I've been using it quite a lot recently, and I'm sure I'll have a gameplay with each of these class setups at some point in the very near future. But anyway, let's jump into the third loadout. Alright guys, so our third loadout, we have an M16. You've probably by now seen a bunch of clips on Twitter with this gun. It is an absolute monster of a gun. It hits very, very hard, but you do need the right attachments for this thing. Without the right attachments, it just does not hit the same. And the main important thing, the thing that I wasn't running when I first used it, which made me think it wasn't the best, is this barrel. You need the 15.9-inch strike team. You can run the titanium, but having that extra damage just really, really helps out. And it's basically so you can have the fire rate. You want your fire rate up, because if the faster you put bullets out, the more damage you're going to be doing, and obviously having extra damage is going to help with that as well. So I prefer the strike team over the titanium, but either or works. You just want to increase your fire rate. Again, Axial Arm 3x seems to be the Black Ops Cold War equivalent of the VLK. Maybe not quite as good, but it's the next best thing with the T-pose reticle, and you're going to want to be running that for the M16, as it can be a very long range gun, but still able to use at close range. We've got a SOCOM eliminator barrel to help with the recoil, a field agent foregrip, again recoil controllers. This thing can be pretty uncontrollable at range, and then a salvo 60 round mag, just so you can take out a whole team with one clip, not have to worry about reloading amongst controlling your recoil and actually killing the enemies. If you miss your shots, this gun's going to be pretty difficult to get kills with, as those bullets are so essential in a burst weapon, because if the other guy's got fully auto, in those brief moments where you're not shooting in between bursts, he's going to be hitting you pretty hard. So you need to make sure you are hitting those shots. You don't want to be worried about reloading, but this gun can hit very different with that setup. And then the classic MP5, I put the monolithic suppressor on rather than monolithic integral suppressor barrel, just because you get the extra damage range, which helps this gun compete with other close range Cold War weapons like the MAC-10 and the AK-74U and the Finnec even. This gun competes a lot more with those types of weapons with a monolithic suppressor. I've recently switched, but other than that, pretty much the classic MW MP5 setup, Merc foregrip, and 5mm laser for the close range hip fire, and it hits very strong. I would not suggest the Cold War MP5. That thing just does not hit the same. And one thing that I haven't touched yet is perks. The perks have stayed the same. EOD, Overkill, Amped, that's pretty standard. The one thing that has changed is the lethal equipment. The C4 has recently had a buff as they chose the Cold War C4 rather than the MW one, and it flies a lot further and it hits a lot harder. So the C4 actually is pretty good again, like it once was, and now it's pretty evenly matched between the C4 and the Semtex. It's basically up to you, but I've been using the C4 just because I find myself in more situations where chucking a C4 over a rock or over a wall or into a window and it landing pretty close is a lot more useful than launching a Semtex into a window. And the damage range, like the effective radius of the C4, seems to also be a lot higher, and it's just more useful in a lot of situations. But other than that, nothing changes. We keep the stun grenade and all the perks the same. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the fourth setup. Alright, so next up we have the Stoner. Again, like I said, classic Black Ops Cold War weapon mixed with an MW one. Secondary weapon, we don't have to cover it too much. It's the classic R9. The R9 has not been touched, to everyone's dismay, and actually surprised, to be honest. This gun's gone something like 105 days without a nerf now. It's been the meta for a very long time, and I wish it changed, but it did not. Luckily, the MAC-10 competes with it, but this thing hits very hard and always will. There's the loadout for it if you do want to put it on, but everyone's been using that for weeks now. That's pretty boring. We don't want to bother with that, but I couldn't go through a top 5 loadouts without mentioning this gun, as it is obviously still one of the best. But here is the big beast, the damage monster, the Stoner 63 LMG. I know a lot of people are using this right now, but this is the best setup for it as far as I'm concerned. A lot of people use this in Dirty Bomb, but this thing hits very hard. We got the recoil control because this thing can hit from a long way away. Same reason I had the field agent foregrip, just that recoil control over long range. This thing can definitely map people. It can perform up close, but it's so sluggish and slow because it's an LMG. It's more meant for your beaming, kind of used in the same way as a Bruin might have been a few seasons ago. And for that exact same reason, we got the axial arms 3x scope. Mount up with this thing. It's an actual laser, especially when you got the task force barrel on it, because you get the extra damage at range, and the bullets travel faster, so you don't have to lead your shots as much. And then a big 150 round mag, which you can reload fairly quickly. You can just be spraying teams out in the open, killing whole squads of 4 in one mag. Crazy, crazy gun, especially if you get some stopping power rounds on it as well. This thing, mixed with the R9 to help you up close, is going to be very, very dangerous on the map. Same with just the same perks, the same lethals, same stuns. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the final loadout. Alright guys, so finally we have something a little bit different. We have a sniper setup. You can't go top 5 loadouts without a sniper setup. We have to include everyone here. And the sniping is very, very fun. We have 2 Black Ops Cold War guns together. The Tundra has a floor loot variant, and if you picked it up, you know it hits very hard. It is very easy to use and very effective in a gunfight, especially if you're playing quads or something like that. Getting that opening pick can be the difference between winning and losing a gunfight. So we have ourselves the LW3 Tundra sniper rifle. It has a 28.2 inch Tiger Team barrel for the fire rate, so you can just keep hitting enemies back to back to back. You don't really have to worry. We're not having this fire rate barrel, however, because we want the damage and the bullet velocity increase, which means that we don't have to lead the shot as much. And when we do hit people, it's going to hit a lot harder. Obviously, if you hit in the head, no matter what, it's going to be a one shot. But having the extra damage means you're going to take more plates off of enemies and just slowly break them down while they're in a fight. We got our stabilizer for the idle sway control. That's just going to help you as a sniper gun-to-gun fight, not having to worry about controlling your gun, kind of moving around naturally more than you'd like it to, which might put your shot off. We got ourselves a 9-round mag, and it's a speed mag too, so you can just keep, like I said, outputting those bullets as much as possible, so you can afford to miss a few shots. You got another 8 to go after you miss one, and then you reload really quick anyway. Airborne elastic wrap for the aim down sight speed. It is very, very slow. So we got that on there. And then the flinch resistance as well. Essentially, if you're a sniper rifle, if you're on a wall and you're trying to kill someone, you have one shot and it's a bolt action gun. You need to hit those shots realistically. You can't afford to miss when you have one shot at a time. If I'm running out across the open and I see a sniper, I might fire some bullets back. If one of them hits you as you're about to shoot at me, it makes you flinch and you're going to miss your shot. Flinch resistance is going to help with that, however, and you'll be able to hit them a lot easier. And then finally, the Vulture Custom Zoom. This is just the sight I like to use. You can use the regular one. You can use the axial ones 3 times. You can use pretty much whatever you want. Even red dots are pretty effective. I just like this one because it helps you deal with close and long range alike. And that's kind of my playstyle as a sniper. But I don't think we have to worry about close range too much, as we have ourselves a MAC-10 to back up the power of the Tundra. You guys will have heard about this gun, and I left it till last because it's perhaps the best and newest thing in this list. The MAC-10 SMG is just an absolute machine. It obliterates everything, and it's disgustingly overpowered. Get that extra damage on it, the extra effective damage range with the Task Force barrel, and you're going to have yourself a gun that can delete armor and delete people up close. That 5mW laser on it's going to help you with the hip fire in close range as well. Infantry compensate for a little bit of recoil control, as it is a bit bouncy with the high fire rate. 43 round speed mag, purely because it seems to be the middle ground between that and a 53. It's gonna slow down your reload a little bit, having a few extra bullets, and 43 just seems to be a happy medium. You can kill easily 2 people with this mag, hit a really quick reload and kill the other 2, or get your finishes, and I haven't really struggled with running out of ammo with the 43. You could opt for the 53, but the 43 is good enough. Those extra 10 bullets really aren't gonna do that much for you, and the 43 will suffice just fine. Finally, we're going to throw on a drop shot wrap. That's just going to help you drop shot people. This gun can do that very effectively. I personally like jump shots more, but everyone's kind of used to people jump shotting in Warzone. Hitting someone with a drop shot every now and then is going to throw them off. You could opt for an airborne elastic wrap if you wanted, but I don't aim down sight with this weapon too much. I'm more just kind of hip firing with that 5mW, but again, you get the drop shot wrap with the airborne anyway, so it's really up to you which one you want to prioritize out of the 2. I just like the drop shot wrap. That's the one I've been running with, and this class, again, same perks, lethals, tacticals, and it allows you to cover the longest of ranges with the sniper and the closest of ranges, and it's going to have you pretty much just beaming all across the map. You might lack a little bit in the medium range, but like I said, this class is mainly for quads, mainly for when there's a lot of enemies and you have probably teammates with assault rifles that can cover that mid ground for you. Alright guys, I hope you found the loadouts helpful. They have been what I've been running around the map with the last few days and what I'll continue to run around with for a few days more, and hopefully dropping some 30s with it. If you did find any of them useful, go try them out, drop a like, let me know how you get on with them. I'm sure you'll be beaming as I have. Like I said, I've already had a 30 bomb with one of these class setups because they just hit very, very different, and I'm sure you guys will find the same things. If I find any new things, new attachment changes, new guns which are really, really overpowered, I will be sure to upload them for you guys, so make sure you subscribe for those videos in the future. But I hope you guys did enjoy yourselves. If you did, drop a like if you're new, subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video.